Okay, so before I fetch my parchment, my little bit of paper to start this runic text, I'm doing my usual ritual at the moment. I've got my fires burning and I'm drinking a little of the fruit of the vine. So I wanted to talk a bit about fabrics and diet. So in in a diet I'm keen on, the Atkins, it separates everything into proteins, which chiefly that's what we're made of. That's what the living parts of us are made of, proteins. But fabric, it's basically fabric. A protein is a special kind of fabric that forms the core of our living tissues, our cells, our active parts. But fabric is the chiefest element of what we're made of, and in the Theosophist school, in the Montessori Waldorf school, I was part of it as a young thing. We learned about the importance of fabrics, and fabrics are very important. Weaving is an art that has much spiritual significance beyond the simple making of clothes. And so in terms of fabrics, I want to talk about two things here. I want to talk about fabric and diet, and I want to talk about numerology. So the strongest fiber in the universe is the twin weave, and then you have the rule of three. So in most magical communities, the rule of three is a big thing. With us also, I often use the rule of three. The rule of three is used in Sanskrit literature. Om Shanti, Om Shanti, Om Shanti Hi. Was often used to end mantras, and that's a call to peace. And but the twin weave is the strongest. The Trinity is also strong, the next strongest, and then we have various other numbers like 6, which is significant because it's the hex, the circle, or the community, the protective field. And then in the Hebrew you have 7 as the number of perfection, and 6 is maligned as imperfect, one short of perfection. So with 7, then we have 10s and 12s, and 10s and 12s are numbers of fullness in different communities. So 10 in the Latin, 12 in the Hebrew, and then you have 16 in the Zoroastrian and the Iranian. So, but in terms of fibers, obviously you all know the Hindu way. In Hinduism, vegetarianism is seen as good karma, and carnivorous behavior, eating of meat, is seen as negative karma. But it actually goes back further in Hinduism, where sacrificed meat was considered neutral, and meat that was not properly sacrificed was considered sinful, so negative karma. So in the original Hinduism, not the Hinduism of today, but the original Hinduism, eating even of sacred animals like cows was considered okay as long as they were properly sacrificed. Otherwise it was considered sinful, the accumulation of sin. In terms of the fabrics, I think that the fabric associated with the beast, with the cow, with the ox, is positive, and also the fabric associated with the vine, with grapes particularly that we eat, but with vines in general, is another positive influence. So I think that to eat milk, cheese products is particularly valuable to us. Pure fiber of the beast, and I think the beast flesh is good too, but I think there can be complications with that. It depends on the dharma of the individual. It depends where in the pecking order in the food chain an individual sits. And with humans, that's a complicated business, because humans have multiple castes. Humans are not as simple in spirit as other animals. So humans have a tiered system, where some other animals like the cow, the tiger, and the elephant sit at the top of the karma chain, and other animals sit beneath them. Yeah, I'll go more into fibers and things at some point. I think it's very interesting. I think it's worth experimenting in not the same way that the scientists do, where they profane knowledge. They look at everything very simplistically, but looking at fibers from a spiritual perspective, and trying to unravel how each fiber forms the fibers it it feeds into, and how it affects the subtle energy, the subtle bodies of those who consume this, that, the other.